Hello, Internet! Welcome back to Space Engineer's Rail Survival. I have automated. Yes, the power of computer is here with us. So I've installed a inventory manager and production manager. It's called the goat sorter. It does not... I guess it could sort goats if you had a goat. I don't have any goats. It has sorted the insects. But yeah. Basically... it works a lot like Izzy's inventory manager did and does, except it can do food stuff. And it just lets me set, here's how much I want of all of the junk, and it makes it. You can see I have a whole bunch of junk. I have a bunch of steel plate that I unthinkingly set to 2000, then couldn't do anything for a while because I had to wait for it to produce it all before I could put more components in to teach it components. But I figured it was probably about time, now that the base is built, to have something like this running. I have this nice little upper area that I wanted to stick the computers on anyway. So that's where they are. I did some runs out to get materials. I did a hand-mined load of iron at the extra iron. Got some other stuff. We're doing alright. And I think, given everything is sort of done elsewise, I think it's time to leverage that success into some actual track. We've long been dancing around us being a series about building trains. 9 episodes in, we're finally to the point I think I can build a train. Or at least, you know, a concept of a train. So, I guess my first order of business here, maybe, let's go up the funicular and do some sightseeing to see where exactly we want. Now, guess I have to wait for the funicular. We can go ahead and see exactly where we want the track to go. Because I originally sort of envisioned like that flat stretch out in front of the base. The issue is the base is kind of bigger than I think I envisioned. Alright. This is... yeah, pretty good height. You can see a bit of my issue. So this flat valley would have been great, but it's where the base is. And there's a fairly narrow channel in between that hill and the pipeline there. So I wonder if maybe... actually, maybe that's a good thing. So, the gist of the system I intend to build, I'm going to probably have a yard over around here with a main line running this way and that way out to the various things. And eventually, once I find the other things I need to find, I'll have branching paths off that. But I should be able to get that done. Don't need to hop up here, but I can. We should be able to get that done with just one track going that way. And everything else I can set up to branch off of that. So if this over here is the main run. I do have to decide. One of the thoughts I had is, with how I intend to build this, everything I build should be able to be connected to the base. I don't know if that's actually a good thing. Because what is, if we get a better vantage point angle, so that's the line, basically parallel with that pipe is what I want. At least to start out, and I can redirect. And then it would... no, maybe... okay. Here's what we'll do. I'll start building off the base fairly close, and maybe my first turn... well, actually... if I do this high enough, parallel to the building, there's enough room in there to cut through, and my turn can be going on in there. Okay, I think I've got a plan. I don't know if these guys are gonna stay, but they're gonna help me start that plan. I think that'll be good, height-wise. You know, push it out just a smidge more. So that is going to be how my track works. What we saw there with... Yeah, there's no... no piece do what I want, we'll do this. So, ignore that one. This is the track. That will go along... and, curves and maneuvers are going to be complex, but we'll get to those when we get to those. If I just... run out a section of this. Let's position to get some supports in. So this is the track. I've got supports holding on a long beam. The plan is that the wheels of my little dangling vehicle will sit on each side of this central bit. Then the actual car will be down here. So as I go, it just kind of rolls along, dangling underneath the hopefully high enough track. Now I've started this with some design constraints. We have 2 large blocks side to side. I don't think I'll even get that large, but it's good to have clearance. Height, we should be good, because the train itself is going to be small grid, so it won't actually drop much lower probably than these 2 blocks. Which should be good. As we go, we'll have to be adjusting both elevation and angle as well as, you know, side to side angle. I should... I have a scheme for making a rail yard and rail switches. But I don't know if I want to try and implement that now, or if it would be better to just have a line going along. I also don't fully know if I want to move along placing the whole line, or if I want to get a little bit done, build a train, and... Okay, I've got a scheme. Here's what we're gonna do. So... this bit here... Ooh. There are going to be issues that are associated with my track switching idea. I'm going to stick those in there for the moment. I think what I'll do is I'll try and get this main line and then one little branch that I can use basically to store and build my welding car. Okay. So what I've got here is a big awkward gantry thing. And I think this might be the best way for me to do a track switch. So the issue I was thinking running into mentally, I want, if all of these track segments are going to be connected grids, I can't just have the track connecting through the switch, because my plan is to have a line here with hinges that then rotates over and lines up over there. And to make that happen, Well, obviously I can't have, you know, that middle track bit has to be separate. So this may or may not work. I may have to redo how these interconnection bits work. Actually, now if I move them outside, that should do the job. So I think part of my goal with designing this is if I solve this now, I basically just have to copy it for
inventory full.
For any future branch. In fact, I may, and to do it best, I'll probably, you know, cheat a little. But I may take a blueprint of this, at least the basics of this mechanism, so I can just pop one down and line stuff up and then do the complex internal bits later. So I just realized there's a trigonometry issue here. The length from there to there is shorter than the length from there to there. Which means if I have a hinge here that yaws around, the track at that end isn't going to line up correctly. I mean, maybe I get lucky and it is off by like a block and it all works. Let's try it and see. So for this whole scheme, I am going to be using pistons and hinges. The reason I need to do that is because, get the block in here so I can place the thing. So the reason I need the piston, don't need it there. The reason I need the piston is that it gives me just a tiny little offset there. If I just put a hinge straight onto here, the block coming off of it is touching where this block will be. There's no gap. You can see here it won't even let me do it. Good, that didn't fall. Yeah, it'll be too tight and it means that the hinge couldn't actually move. With that little gap, even without moving the piston, that gap gives me enough that I can get a little bit of an angle. And I think just for aesthetic purposes, I'll use these guys up here off the hinges. So, you can see I've placed my track there. There's a little bit of a gap that'll allow this to move. Now, I don't think it'll give me enough to fully get over there. Let's do some experimenting. Oh. I didn't think about that. With this being locked block links apart, that gap is going to be a gap. Huh. I'm wondering now if it's going to be too ambitious to try and have track segments that bend. Because what I could do, if I replace this with another piston, I could have basically a 3-segment, another gap, 3-segment, another gap, and that might get us close enough that that will connect, but I don't have confidence in that. And it's still not guaranteed to line up effectively there. I wonder if my method then... Okay. Let's see. I've got another idea that's going to be a little bit less, you know, trainy.
Low.
But it may just work. So I shortened the gap between these two from 10 down to 9, which means, yep, I can cut out that middle guy. Be annoyed that I can't place that where I want to. Okay, this might be fine. So, okay. What I'm going to try here is to get my track down. There we go. Don't do that. So if I can have this guy wedged in, it will be a little off, but the train should be able to handle that. The issue is that they aren't going to want to run right next to each other. You know, maybe I'm going about this initial bit wrong. Yeah, because my issue is the solid block thing. Yeah, I've got an idea here. Well, that's unfortunate. Is this... Yep, this is a radiation storm. Well, I can't do... I can close myself in here, but I can't do the things I need to do when I'm closed away in here. I think I have another radiation stick. Yeah. Well. Weather's not very nice, but now it won't kill me. And at least I can get progress done. So, I think what I need to do is build in that gap from the get-go. So I think... Will that be good enough? I don't know for sure. We'll go with it and we'll see what happens. So actually, no. And I'm not going to be able to do what I'd really want here. Maybe I can. This is going to get... See, I partially have to think about producing these again, because especially if these are subgrids, I'm going to struggle. It's going to be an issue if I can't build them easily. In fact... I forgot an important step. So, the first important step is instead of having 4 blocks between the tracks, I'll have 3. I shouldn't, hopefully, have trains that clip doing this. But having that be odd means at the other end, I can have the track out be in the middle. And if the track out is in the middle, the track that connects these two, when it goes over to the right, it'll be the same distance as when it goes over to the left to get back to the middle. Now I think I will do this a little different. I want to make sure there's enough room for everything. So, if I do my pistons up here, and I'd like to have the pistons mirrored, but it's just going to be a hassle to make that happen. Oh, except I kind of need to. Okay. We'll do it like this then. I want 2 piston gaps in between. And I kind of do want to do it without having to, you know, because I could obviously build and extend 1 piston. But then I have to remember numbers, whereas here I just have to remember blocks I placed. So I should from here be able to go 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then my block here. Build out our gantry. I can't put this in the ground yet because that end is a subgrid. But we can at least see. So my outbound track will go right there and continue off that way.
Fuel low.
Potentially turning, potentially just going over that hill and hopefully clearing it.
Fuel critical.
Ow. Well, I didn't think that one through. That's fine. Probably make this end gantry a little tighter in anyway. See, I forgot. I kind of need to stick a piston in there. Then have my gantry going off either side of it. So now we have a hinge. Have a blast door block. Stick that in before it moves too much. Actually, because it lulled to the side, yeah, I think I'm gonna need more than one of these. And in fact, I'll probably need this whole thing to be just a chain of them, because I want to curve back as I get to the other end. So I don't want to build all these guys, but I obviously don't want them doing what they're doing now. So I'm going to use a little trick. Oh, that really worked. So with build vision, and you may be able to do this from the control panel too, you can adjust the angles to basically corral in a piston or a hinge and get it where you want it without having to actually build it and power it and run it. See, I can just, so that as it whacks the end, I can constrict it in. Things get weird if you constrict it past 0, so we'll just leave it a little wibbly, but that should be good. I should probably go ahead and try and do some things before I get too ahead of myself. I need to convert this to a static grid so I can put it in the ground and have it safe and not have to worry about you know, it going away. So yeah, dang. I'm just gonna try and share inertia tensor on as much of this stuff as I can. Doesn't want to do it. Got a little trick here we can try. Oh, okay, I heard it clunk. Alright. And then, there we go. So, if free-floating subgrids are causing issue. So if free-floating subgrids cause you... Yes, yes, lady, shut up. So if free-floating subgrids are causing you issue where you can't turn to a station, mag-locking it to the ground is a good solution for that. I need more fuel, but then I can build into the ground, lock this down permanently, and then it should be good. Okay. Well, that's as far as I can go, so hopefully this is enough. Now, I just try to get these lined up. And in fact, I'm gonna need these to move, so I might as well build them. I don't know. I probably will build all the ones for the main span, even though it's gonna be expensive. Because the last thing I'd want is to not build them, have one steel plate in a key, linkage of track, and have a weird clang bump cause the entire thing to fail. There's already a very high chance that most of this explodes at some point, so I might as well limit that where I can. I can't remember what the actual maximum angle is. It's not 15. Okay, let's call it 6. Copy that along to these. So when it goes to 6, and that goes to 6.
Energy low.
I don't think... I mean, that's as tight a curve as I can make it, which is, for what we're doing, actually pretty tight. Like, I'll probably
Low.
do 5 or maybe 4. Well, that was lucky.
Critical.
I'll probably want to do 5 or maybe even 4 for the normal situations. But I do need this to go... I may have to extend this out even more. Which I can do, but I don't particularly love the idea of it. Because of course this arc is good, but I need this guy to be arcing back the other way. So yeah, my other thought is that instead of having a proper switch that I can just roll along, maybe I basically have like a little push to the side elevator. It'll still need this sort of double setup. So I think those are my two options. One is have a little like side pushy thing. So I'll move where that is again, have it aligned down there, and then I can push the track in the middle from here to here, which will work, but it limits the length of my train to one span. Or I extend this whole thing even longer so I can get the angles right to make this sweep in and out. And it's going to be a pain, but I think I'm going to do that.
Critical.
I think that it'll be nice to have the option, even if I don't use it, it'll be nice to have the option to have a longer train moving. And if I want to do that, I'm going to need to have it be a through flow thing here. And it's probably good too, so we'll see how well it goes, but I have ambitions to actually try and automate this whole system.
Inventory full.
And if I'm going to automate it, I want to be able to basically sit here in, the home base, have a little switching table that tells me what all the switches are. So I can then manually set the tracks and then have a train come to me from out in the wilderness, wherever, without having to actually be there. And if I have these manually slide across deals, I kind of need to physically be there to make that work. Now, I think what I'm going to do to extend this, I can leave it in the ground for now, and that will keep it a subgrid, or keep it a static grid. So let's see what this is like. So I think based on what I saw from before, I think if I can get 6 hinges in, that will do it, and I may be able to get by with 5. Oh. So I see a flaw here. Interesting. So apparently how the bugs work is they appear in the world somewhere off hidden, and then they don't do anything until you touch the ground. So let's go ahead and ow, drop those turrets down a bit. Hopefully they won't just fire off all their bullets into the ether anymore. Okay, and I'm probably going to need to share inertia tensor all these guys, but for the moment, so at the moment, I can angle that one out, that one out, that one out, then that one in, so I need one more in. Let's, yeah, it's already beyond the limit, so I have to convince it. Uh-oh. Okay, we don't want the pistons touching each other. Yep. Oh boy. This is all a little bit of a mess. Hopefully, as they wiggle themselves in, once they get within their limit, they should stop. Yep, like that one. What that one just did, and that one. So they're now at their limits. I think. Come on. Ah. Cursed piston arm. Okay. That should work. I'm gonna weld all these guys first. Just to make sure I have control over this monstrosity. Oh, the worst part is I'm probably gonna need a bunch of these. Like, just for the locations I have now. Nickel mine, I won't need another one. But I'll need 2 more of these just to get to silver, silicon, and cobalt. Because I think part of my design ethos is I don't want any through stations, because again, if I automate this, I want to be able to basically have probably a little cargo pod train sitting at each resource. And then if I need more resource, I can either manually call it, or maybe they just start moving when they're full. We'll have to see what we can do. But at the very least, I want sidings, even if that's not, even if I have a locomotive that goes and picks them up. I want to be able to bypass silicon to go to silver, even if there is stuff sitting at the silicon station. Let's set these guys up. So if those guys all go to their negative length, and then these last three go to their, oh boy, positive length. Yeah, we get back level. And we're actually, we can actually make it shallower, which is a good thing, I think. No, that's iron. Yeah, the astral is off. Oh boy. Oh, that's... Gee, that's closer than I'd like it to be. Oh, I was afraid that was gonna take out the funicular. Hey, vey. That's another real issue we could run into. The track could get hit by meteors. That's not gonna be good. Anyway, I was making things less wibbly. Oh, this is gonna be real sketchy to drive a train on too, I think. I may have to put some sort of mag lock in place to make this less scary. Okay, that's close. Oh god. This is very complex, isn't it? See, the issue now is because of these angles, this gap is too large for a thing. So in reality, I don't know if I can just do it by feel. Okay. Well, I'm gonna do something a little wacky. Especially because it's gonna freak everything out. So my thought here is as these reset. Ooh.
Fuel low.
That has potential.
Fuel
I forget that I
critical.
could technically do all this from over there. I don't have to fly over here each time. So what I did on this is I've made the end angles shallower than the internal angles. And I think I need to then have this guy be a little more. Yeah. Now we're still too close. My thinking is if I can essentially scrunch this down, it would give me just enough room to make this all work in a way that's a little bit more convenient. And oh, and radiation storms. Oh, and bugs. Just gonna, I named all these so I could more easily adjust them, give them stronger torque, and just go all out and hope that that helps with some of this wiggle. So there I have room. I mean, that's so close that that won't be able to move. And it's off by half a block. I have a feeling that what I need to make happen here is not doable. Oh, you know what? You know what sucks here? I bet you one more piston in this link would give me enough room. I'm really beginning to think that my better option is to just maybe have this linked so I can have a nice long train and just manually move stuff. I've been poking and prodding at this thing for quite some time. I don't even know how long this episode's gonna be. You know what? Okay. I'm gonna leave this as it is for now. Hopefully you in the comments can give some suggestions, and I may do some tweaking and testing
Fuel low.
at a later date. So yeah, leave comments about ideas you have for this. I'll try and do some stuff over the week and see if I can't figure out a way to make a switch that's gonna work how I want it to work. In the meantime, now we'll do it on the main line just so we can run it back and forth a little bit. I want to build my train, or at least build a starting train that will probably be for welding. So I'm starting with the well, a bogie, just because that's probably going to be the easiest spot to start. And I may do some work to stylize this a bit more, but I can at least show the functional bits. No, I think I want the large ones, because I need to make sure there's clearance around the track for going around corners and whatnot without clipping the edges. So with these guys, I mean, I could do one on the side and one up, but that's not all that different from putting that guy there. So I'll just go with that. And I've found the 2x2 wheels are actually some of the best for this, because they give you plenty of room in here while still, you know, having physics that work, unlike the 1x1s. Let's see, I may be able to do something a little cheeky here that may help give us a little more stability. So the trick here, I have these upper wheels that are actually supporting my weight and providing my traction, and then side wheels along the side that sort of help side to side. Because of course if these scoot too far to the side and the wheels start rubbing the middle bit, then that's no good. This guy here should roll. Now
Fuel low.
Now I need more fuel again.
Fuel critical.
Now I can modify in here a little bit. Give myself a nice tight in rotation bit, because I'm going to want a rotor and hinge on. So my plan is to have two bogies on this vehicle. I'm going to want this rotor and hinge in the middle connecting to the main body, so that as we go along, the bogies can tilt and twist independently. And it should all work because everything's dangling. These just, they're sort of working as rope, essentially. So they don't have to be able to support anything or have any, like, special limits. I may do limits anyway, but they don't need them. Okay. So I've got that. This might be a mistake, but before I get too far... Ooh, actually... Well, no, I'm still going to do this, but I just changed my plan. So I want to build the second bogie sort of off this first one before making them independent subgrids, because I think that'll make life easier. And I think what I'm going to do for this train, I want this to be my welder. So I think what I'll do is get these bogies on, and the car will have probably cargo and whatnot in the middle, and a welder at each end overhanging the bogies, so that I can weld ahead of me, and I don't have to try and get, you know, I don't have to go out, place the track, and well, I guess I will, but it should be safer. Oh. Okay, I forgot another important step, which is these need limits again if I'm going to actually connect stuff up. Or at least to be locked. And I should probably do something light so I can actually lock it. Before I put all the stuff on. Alright. Attach that. So now these two bogies are connected via this central subgrid, so I can get rid of this. And it's a little scary, but I'm going to just disconnect everything. Though I'll leave that there as a stopper in case it decides to try and roll. But yeah, you can see, so the wheels there support the weight, and I may have to adjust their suspension strength. These side wheels I will drag in. In fact... And actually, that looks perfect. Okay, they moved a bit. So there is an issue if these side wheels are too tight and they sort of squeeze the track too much. It can, well, cause everything to go weird. In fact... Let's drop it and then recopy. Because a little bit of slop is fine. It's just if the... Well, if they're so loose that the wheels can essentially hop up over the track, that's bad. But being too tight can cause them to do the exact same thing, so we're probably good. Okay, so now this will actually be easier. I think that's the middle. Yep. I can... This may be the best solution, is just... Yeah, 3 of those guys. And then probably... at that rate. We will probably just do... a full one of these at each end. Oh, nuts. I thought the welders had side connections. I think these will be too tall. Yep. Ah. Well, that's okay. Yeah, so if that's in the middle, just drop it by 2. I can put my batteries up top. Like so.
Fuel low.
Do these. Fall out of
Fuel
the sky.
critical.
Now, hopefully, these tubes will be low enough. Oh yeah, that looks perfect. So that welder should be able to weld that track piece. I will have to manually weld the supports, which is a bummer, but this is something at the very least. And what I can actually... probably do want one of these. Unfortunately, I'm not going to have good visibility. So I have room to put these up here. I kind of want to do my cockpits on the side, but I don't necessarily... Oh. Well, that's not quite right. I kind of want visibility out of my cockpits, but maybe that's going to be excessive anyway. Oh, but you know what I do want? I just remembered. Oh boy. So I just remembered I don't necessarily want these battery powered. I want them hydrogen powered because I should have a bunch of hydrogen and it will be well, easier to refuel with. So okay, so that is a large conveyor port. If I replace that large port with one of these adapters, it gives me conveyoring. So I can then have... Yeah, we'll go 2 tanks. And 2 engines. And then that's all providing connection. Ooh, yeah. No, this works. So up here, this will probably just be a one-off for this locomotive. I need to remember my orientation for this. Okay. The line is towards and away from me. So that should connect up to that adapter. Let's add more tanks. So I shouldn't regularly... My normal locomotives will probably just hook up to the base, but this one, it'll have enough here that it can refine its own ice so I don't have to design a way to hook it up to power it, since it's going to be helping me build everything anyway. And then we will stick some little batteries along the side here. Yeah, even though I don't, even though I'd like visibility, I don't think I will get it, so we'll just stick these guys at each end. And I can even pipe them up. Oh. Dang it, I tried to get the high voltage on the right side on all these, and I messed those two up. Oh well. I suppose if it really bothers me, Okay, they're messed up over here. They were all right on... Oh. Yeah, they're all right over there, so... Ah, well. Who will notice? Let's get some ice. And then that should be everything else welded. Let's just take all that ice. Turn the ice drill back on. We should be able to test. See how this thing runs. How quickly are we chewing through that? Pretty quickly. Let me turn the engines off for the moment. Oh, we have battery power. We have all the wheels welded. Now the last thing I need is a computer. And I did discover I can stand up here. On this computer, let's put... good old subgrid wheel control script. So what this does is, without me having to put very much effort in at all, allows me to control wheels that exist on a subgrid. Just turn these off so we can move freely. Not that it'll matter. But yeah, so from the cockpits I have on here, I should now be able to control all these wheels. Now I do... I set their power to 0, so that's good. Those upper wheels should be ready to rock. Let's just do... yeah, so these are my top wheels. I don't want them steering. Side wheels, I don't want them steering or propelling. Give these guys, let's say 20 strength. Power's probably good. Speed limit 80. Okay. Now if I'm right, I should be able to start rolling. Let's see what happens. Here we go. Yeah. Oh, that's a train. I remember some important things though. So, too much power on these, and you saw what happens. They sort of whip around. So, let's do 20. Yes! Oh, this is it. Okay, we have a train. Now, I can't go very far because of the jiggly switch of death. That is working. I can move, I can stop. We'll have to test turns when we get to them. Okay. Let's load up with some steel plate. I just want to see it in action here. So can I... it's just too high for me to get in. Okay. So if I start welding, I should start welding... let's move away from those buffer blocks. But I should start welding up the track if I hit the button. Yep. I can scoot myself forward. Oh. Okay, I'm out of steel now, but... oh, this is working great. Camera gets a little weird. But yeah, nope, that's not a handbrake. I'm pretty sure handbrake works. Never mind. We'll just leave it here and hope it stays. Yeah, we have a train. Nice dangly train ready to use. So, yeah, I think that's where I'm going to call it for today. This might be a very long episode or a very standard one that just took a long time to film. But I'd say we've made some good progress. And I have tasks for you guys, so feel free, suggest stuff. It'll be about 2 weeks before I'm back here again, so in that time I'll do some poking around of my own. Guess we should showcase what I need help with. But yeah, if you've got a better idea than whatever's going on here, let me know, give your suggestions. I'll try and test some stuff out and see what design potentially works best, or if I just have to figure out the math that would tell me how far things need to be, which I really don't want to do, but it may be what I have to do. Yeah, so for now, thank you everybody so much for watching. Feel free to check out the other stuff I've done. There'll be Space Engineers 2 coming next week, and then more this week after then. Until that comes, bye-bye.